the wheels back from my local shop and they've done a fantastic job. They've removed the 3-wheel rim locks. They've put a new rim band in, a rim strip. They've put a brand new inner tube in and they've fitted the tyre that I got from the VOC as well. They've also balanced the wheel as well, and so here you'll see there are some weights there on the wheel, and so very happy with it. And then I'm just going to fill in these holes that were made by the rim locks, and the next job is to work on this axle assembly. So I'm just going to try and start fitting the axle assembly without the shims. There's no grease on the bearings either. And what I've done, I've just been to the local Ace hardware store and bought a few of these bronze thrust washers to simulate the brake plates going on. And then we can nip them down and see if this all locks up, which it is doing. So right away, the whole thing's locking down, and I can tell that it definitely needs shimming. So that's the next job, just starting with one by one shimming these bearings out from the inside. Okay, I'm going to start off with 3 very fine shims on the inside of the bearings, and all 3 are about 0.015 of an inch, and just build up from here. The bearing, a couple of spacers to simulate the brake covers, and then the nut, and we nip those up and see if that, no, that's still too tight, so we'll add more shims. So now we're at 5 shims on both sides at 0.030. Yeah, it's a bit better. Still binding a little. I have a sense where this is going. I think I know why there were so many shims on before now. And ultimately, once I establish the correct baseline, I'll order the correct size shims instead of putting 5 or 6 shims on both sides. Okay, now we have 8 shims on both sides at 0.044. Okay. That is excellent. I'm just going to measure the end float now, but there actually doesn't feel like there's any. I think it's got to be 1/32 of an inch. I'll possibly add one more shim in there. It's so close, I can't even feel any float whatsoever. Well, hopefully this will be it. I've got 9 shims on the inside of both bearings, and both come very close to 0.045 inches. So hopefully this will be correct, with about 0.005 or a 32nd of an inch end float on this inside hollow axle that it's referred to as. I can just feel it. Yeah, it's a bit more than I think I want. Okay, I think we got it. So that's 10 shims on both sides at 0.045 inches, and I'm just feeling that little bit of end flow, and that's with the nuts nipped down as well. Well, it's been just a few days since the last video and some very nice parts have arrived from Coventry Spares. Specifically, I've ordered new shims. This was, I guess, the most efficient configuration that I could get given what was available. So I've gone for 3 times 0.15 inch shims on both sides to make up the 0.45 that's needed on the inside of the bearings. And then what I've gone for as well, I've read a lot about this on the forum, are these, and please excuse my pronunciation, Nilos or Nilo seals, I'm not sure. And these are the bearing seals that replace these old felt ones as well, which are saturated in oil or grease. So I'm going to just see if they fit, essentially a cap on the bearing. Great, here's one of the seals. Oh, nice. Very nice indeed. That's great. And then, of course, I'll need to take into account the thickness of this seal when I'm shimming out for the brake plate. Just as a little reminder, this is the felt seal. And you can see, got a larger inside diameter that went round this part of the bearing. And nice snug fit. And I'm sure there's pros and cons for both. So here with these Nilos, it's smaller, fits inside, and just tighter around that hollow axle. That's too much. Well, I think I may have got it. This is probably as close as I think I'm going to get for right now. It's about 5 thousandths, maybe a little, maybe 6. Okay, it's been a bit of a trial and error, but I think I might finally have it. What I found with these new Nilos bearing seals is they were causing some binding when I nipped down the nuts. And so I've put shims on the inside of those. So on the outside of the bearing, 3 shims here, 15 thousandths, and then the bearing seal, and then the spacer, and then the brake plate obviously, and then the nut. So same on the other side as well. That's a 1/15 thousandths of an inch shim before the bearing cover, the Nilos cover, and then the spacer. So I'm going to put it all back together again, dry fit, and then if that's good, I'll grease the whole lot up and then start reassembling.